With Valentine's Day being so close to us, do you remember back in school, this would kind of be the cutoff time for Candygrams?
That's right.
That was back before everybody got a participation badge. That was back before you had to bring a Valentine for every kid in the class. It was really survival of the fittest popularity division.
It was like Lord of the Flies, and some of us were Piggy with broken spectacles.
Oh.
So what would happen is, on Valentine's Day, or the closest day to if it fell on a weekend, at least I remember it this way, somebody would come to your class and knock on your door, usually student council, one of your peers, and be like, hey, is Stephanie here? Hey, is Brian here? And they would call all these names and then like dump these Candygrams that have been purchased to show affection or friendship. And if your name didn't get called, it didn't matter.
No.
And nobody cared if you got a Candygram or not. So I ask you, as we are just a few days away from Valentine's Day, has anyone in your family asked for a couple of dineros to buy Candygrams for the ones they love in school?
You know what? Either they're not doing it or my kids are not romantic. Because now you say that, they haven't brought it up now. Maybe this week because we are getting towards the last couple days. But as of right now, I don't know what the Parkers are doing when it comes to Candygrams at school.
I haven't heard it yet either. And usually my son's pretty savvy. He buys them for himself so he can be the most popular kid.
Oh, I see. How does he work that? Does he just make up names?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, he's got this whole system, and it's weird because everybody in this tiny school knows who everybody is.
Right.
But he has these names, and he makes them up, and everybody must know it's from himself, but he doesn't care.
Does he do names like Blanche and Rose?
I can imagine what names he picks.
Because it seems, at least back in the day, it seemed to be like a lot of girl-on-girl action with like girls would buy for their girlfriends.
Oh, yeah.
And very rarely, because you really have to put yourself out there in grade 9 or 10 if you were going to buy a Candygram for a girl as a male.
Bet.
Like, you're just like, this is as straight a shot I can shoot in high school.
Because at recess or lunch, she might turn to her girlfriend and go, you won't believe it. Ryan Parker gave me a Candygram. Like, does he think he's getting in on this? Does he think he's going to be able to rub up on me because he bought me some chocolates? No chance, man.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so brings me on to my next topic. Let's play blind ranking. These games you would play in elementary school that are pretty much no longer existent, which will bring me into my bad parents topic of the week. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you some games, and if you don't know what they are, because there's one that I don't know, but I wish that I kind of played. It sounded kind of fun. I could explain them to you if you don't know.
Okay.
So blind ranking top 5. Okay. Where would you put Red Ass?
Oh, I loved Red Ass. One of my favorites.
Red Ass.
Now, this is the one, correct me if I'm wrong, that you throw the ball against the wall. I believe it bounces once. If you drop it, you have to run and touch the wall before someone throws that ball at your ass.
If you touch the ball and fail to catch it, you have to run to the wall before someone else picks up the ball and throws it at the wall. If you fail to make it to the wall before the ball does, you're forced to stand with your face against the wall while other players take turns whipping it at your butt, hence the name Red Ass.
Yeah, see, I like that game, and back in those days, had the hand-eye coordination, a little like Delino DeShields action. And so I like that game. I'm going to throw it in a 2 slot already.
Wow.
I've never played it. I don't know, so I'm going to just defer and go with Ryan, I guess.
2?
Yeah, sure.
Where would you put Dodgeball? Dodgeball on the games you no longer play at elementary.
Oh, like Ian, I'll tell you why. I have an older brother. Every once in a while, the old gym teacher, I think it'd be pretty funny, and you're all like ready to go, hey, we're going to play dodgeball. And everyone's right, great. You're in grade 9. Everyone's playing dodgeball. And then it'd be like, with the grade 11s. And then you can see older Darren Parker point to his friends. That's my little brother. Let's go.
Oh, man, that's bullying in the 80s, 90s at its best.
And I don't care if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
And he bought Shirley a Candygram.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my God. No, get the target off my back.
My brother likes older women. Throw a ball at his nuts.
Oh.
I didn't like it. I'm going to throw that in the number 5 slot.
Okay.
I was a fat kid, so 5.
Oh.
5 for sure, 5er.
You're a sitting target. Like, you just knew you had to get hit once and you're out of the game.
I know.
Or, like, you just had to drop the ball, right? Like, you catch it. If you dropped it, you were out. So, like, that saved a lot of embarrassment. This game I had never heard of, okay? What do you think the game Don't Squeeze the Lemon was?
Oh, is it anything to do with the guy's nards?
Nothing to do with the nards, surprisingly.
I don't know.
Don't squeeze the lemon. You would sit at the bottom of a slide sideways, then someone would slide down feet first and try to knock you off. Don't squeeze the lemon.
Just for the name alone, I'll throw that in the 4 slot.
Yeah.
I don't know it.
I feel like a fat kid could do well in that game.
Right.
No one's knocking me down off the slide.
That's a good point.
Their skinny little legs.
Would you also say what's a lemon back then?
What about, and we could all chant it together, Red Rover,
Yeah.
let's call blank over.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty exciting game.
Do you ever get Red Rover? And I'll just tell you what the last one is. The last one is British Bulldog. So you have those two to do. Do you ever get those two confused?
Yeah, I don't think I could tell you which is different.
Okay. So Red Rover is you challenge and catch one of the players who tries to reach the other side of the playing area. So you have the 2 lines. I would call you over. You would try to break the bond, hand-to-hand bond that I would have with my partner. And if you did it, you got to go back to your line. If you couldn't, you joined our line until one team had won, where British Bulldog played in groups. 1 or 2 kids are chosen to be bulldogs who then have to chase other players and capture them. It usually ended up being a massive violent stampede and has been pretty much banned in every school. So where would you put Red Rover?
I think I have 2 spots left. I'm going to go Red Rover 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I was going to do the same.
All right, so I British Bulldog then would be number 1.
Yes, and I was the annoying kid who, when we played British Bulldog, I would pretend I was like Winston Churchill being British.
Oh, my God.
And I'll say, as a little 5-year-old, grade 5, I'd be like, I'll catch you on the slides, in the portables, I'll fight you during recess, lunch hour.
Aw, that's cute.
Where I would be an actual British Bulldog and Davy Boy Smith, and I get jacked up on roids.
Yep. I'll be like,
and give you a power slam.
I feel a concussion coming on.
People broke their arms in
yeah.
Red Rover, too,
yeah.
holding that chain.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know if you listening played any of those games, or like, I don't know if you're like a teacher, you're like, I should try to bring these back. I don't know, maybe just leave them alone. But the reason why I bring this up is we all remember playing at the playground. I think playgrounds when we grew up are a lot different than playgrounds now, okay? In a Dutch study, they're campaigning to bring risky playground equipment back. They're like, enough of this woke playgroundism.
Trust the Dutch.
Bring it all back. As concerns about too much time spent indoors, helicopter parenting, and childhood diabetes risks grow, some are advocating playgrounds with potentially dangerous toys, such as merry-go-round.
Oh.
There's one at a local park by me. Jack, I honestly thought he was gone. He fell underneath. Remember do you remember the sort of like the theory that somebody died getting sucked under the big wheel at Price is Right?
Right.
That happened to Jack. Like
Right.
he disappeared underneath the merry-go-round. I thought he was done. It was,
The old human speed bump.
very much. But others are even asking for places for their children to start fires, build with hammers, and play fight with sticks.
So I live in a little town called Acton, and I noticed near a park where we used to go tobogganing, a lot of empty beer bottles. And so I'm kind of used to these parks that are a little
Sounds
bit
like
dangerous.
Acton.
Yeah, exactly right. And so I bet you there's some science behind this and logic behind it, in that they say with children, they have to learn to respect things, and you're going to get hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to play, what is the word? You have to play carefully, but not play, right? And understand, if you fall off, if you bump your head, the carousel, if you don't treat it right, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I bet you there's some science saying we got to bring that back.
I have a bit of a saying in our house that is, and it's play hard, hurt hard. If you're going to play hard, the chances of you getting hurt hard are pretty good, right? Like just take whatever. Nobody wants kids to get injured, but the policy proposal from one political party claims that without spaces to explore and challenge themselves in, kids risk losing the chance to develop crucial skills.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. When I was in grade, 5 or 6, Settlers Green, we used to like just throw snowballs at each other. Like that was just a thing. And then, of course, I get it. Like someone gets hurt, you take one in the schnoz, someone gets plain. Back in those days, bullying was totally fine. One kid would get picked on too much. So what they did was they didn't just say no more snowballs. They made targets, right? And then like kids had the responsibilities of taking the targets out and put them against the baseball fence and then bringing them back after recess. So you still got some pleasure out of it. You still got to make a snowball, throw a snowball, some of that pent up energy. And I'm like, that nowadays they would just cancel everything.
I know.
So I'm like, there has to be a happy medium. I think we've swung way too far when it comes to wokeism. I think we've come way too far when it comes to safety. And we got to bring her back just a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, and I was listening to, my husband's obsessed with a lot of Navy SEAL podcasts, like where they talk about how they became these tough guys. So many of these tough guys and girls who protect the country and go out and do this, they had childhoods of free reign. Like they roamed, they learned about like boundaries and strength, but not. And sometimes they hurt themselves, but like, what kind of future are we creating of adults if they are protected and never know their boundaries and never know, like to you said, that they don't know playing hard and hurting hard?
Yeah, you know what we're making now? We're making old Navy SEALs.
I think so.
You know, we're just not. They just don't have those abilities you learn as a youngster that might turn into something in your future.
If you don't have the wind knocked out of you by the age of 10, I don't think your childhood was shit.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, it's true. And you know, as someone who's got 3 boys, and I find
now mine came when I was 8 because I fell out of a hammock, but still
hurt.
It still hurt. I knew what it was like.
You were like Jack Tripper back in the day,
pretty much.
But like, I have mostly my 13-year-old is kind of still your stereotypical 13-year-old, and his buddies come over and they goof around and they're kids, and it's so nice because it's not iPad, it's not screen time, they're just being goofballs.
Yeah.
And they'll go off to the woods, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "I don't know." And I'm like, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm the Dutch, man. They seem to know everything, right? Aren't they the same people that leave their kids in prams outside in the winter?
Are they though? Yeah, probably.
That part of the
whole
world.
part of the world.
My husband's family, his mom is Dutch, and she's very good for my boys because I'm a little bit on the soft side. And when she looks after them, they get into some stuff, and it's good. They're outside a lot more. I think they know what they're talking about.
And I also feel that, like one rep said, and the inspiration, and it really is a huge problem, is that children are hardly moving. All kinds of problems stem from just sitting behind a screen. And you could be like, I'm going to combat it by like taking my kid to the park. And you're kind of like, okay, well now play, right? And you're kind of like, well, there's nothing really to do at the park. And then, but like, if I was a kid and it was like, I'm going to show you how to build a fire. I'm like, okay, like I'm so in on that, right? Like let's sword fight with some sticks. I'm in on it. Just to take them to a park and be like, okay, play. Like if you're not providing a scenario in which to play, like I think it can be hard. Yes, use your imagination, play on your own, all that kind of stuff. But if you were taken somewhere and you're like, today we're going to learn how to build a fire safely, whatever, I think that's pretty dope.
Oh, my kids would love it. Both of them.
We used to make a lot of fires, not safely with a parent. You know, the old Final Net hairspray and just let her go. Just light up your G.I. Joes.
Can you believe the stuff that we did?
Insane. In like our buddy's dad's garage full of paint and gas. Let's just have a fire in here. Insane.
Like at summer, right? Your parents would have to work and maybe you go to your grandparents. You walk in your grandparents, be like, everything in here is bullshit. Like, everything in here sucks. It's so old and crappy and whatever. Then all of a sudden you discover the power of a magnifying glass. Like, you took it outside. You're like, this is used because your eyesight is gone. But it's a deadly weapon for ants.
Yeah, man.
And you're like, you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with going to Nana's house because, you know what? Cricket, you're getting it.
It's so true. It's so true. And we found ways to be dangerous. Like, my grandma lived near a train track. The stuff we would do, like, would give me as a mom a heart attack. But we found ways to be so dangerous because we were bored, because they didn't plan every bit of our free time.
100%. I remember going to my dad, and I'll give my dad all the credit in the world for having that sort of like parent radar. It was one summer, I was probably like 12 or 13, and I was playing with some guy at the end of the street. And we had this idea to do something. So I went home on a gorgeous sunny day and said to my dad, Dad, where are the flashlights? And he's like, you're not going in the storm sewer. And I said, how the fuck did you know that? I just ruined my entire day. But he knew, right? But like, that was our idea. Our idea was to go into these storm drains with flashlights and just kind of like be guys.
Oh, man.
Well, that was it.
And listen, I know it's a movie. I totally get it. But we watched this movie as kids thinking, yeah, I kind of get it. And that's Stand By Me. We're 12-year-old, 13-year-old boys walk to try to find Ray Brower, a dead kid that got hit by a train. And they try to get to him first before Eyeball and the older kids can drive there and get there. And leeches and all the craziness that happened. Again, I know it's a movie, but we weren't like, that would never happen.
Oh, I know. And I actually had to have a discussion with my husband to see if we'd even let my kid watch the movie,
right.
let alone and when he saw, he says, how did they have a weekend sleepover? I said, well, they probably all lied to each other's parents that they were at the other person's house. They couldn't even comprehend that. And that's our generation that we're raising. It's so different.
Didn't one of them have a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think they had a gun because at the end, right, Will Wheaton's pointing it at him.
Right, yeah.
Being like, get out of here.
That's
and plus, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm out as soon as I hear chomper stick balls.
Yeah, that's right.
How do I get home?
Storm the beaches of Normandy.
Somebody call my aunt, come get me, and take me home.
Yeah, that's a good movie, eh?
That's great.
It wouldn't happen today because they'd all have air tags.
Oh, I know. The parents would be like, they just sit down. They're like, nope, Junior's trying to find a dead body. And the kid's like, I want to find a dead body.
They're all on the train trussel running across. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think out of the three of us, I'm probably more of a helicopter parent than anybody else.
But that's because your wife is so young. You're parenting sort of with millennials.
No, I'm parenting with anxiety. So it really is. I have no helicopter license, but yet I fly one.
I am parenting with alcohol. It just
sure
it numbs the pain, and then you're like, they'll be okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Would you say out of the three of us that you were the most helicopter?
I think so.
And then who? Shauna or me?
I'm going to go Shauna.
Yeah, probably.
Just because of the mother bear. Mother bear?
Yeah.
And then you're really willy-nilly.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, that might be one of the names of my kids. I don't even know all their names.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did you see that, real quickly, that mama bear? Did you see that story about Australia and what she did? This woman in Australia, real quickly, this woman in Australia had enough of her daughter being bullied. It was like 12 months of being bullied. The kid wasn't eating anymore. She found like moldy sandwiches, and it was getting to the point where she just did all the right channels to try to get this fixed, and she just couldn't. And so she went into the class, and I guess one of the kids recorded it, and she went in gangbusters.
Oh, no.
And she said, now she admitted she went too far, but she was pushed to the very end. And most parents are like, I get it, not the right way to handle it, but Mama Bear came out. She said, if you ever mess with my effing daughter again, I will slit your effing throats.
Oh, whoa.
She said, I'll be waiting for you. And that smart little so-and-so over there, yeah, you know what? You're just jealous because of, and there's a bunch of swearing. I don't even know what she's trying to say. She went hardcore. But a lot of parents are like, these channels, right? They're not doing the right things.
The channels aren't fixing the problem, leading to just this overload of feeling frustrated. Not that that's right or an excuse, but the frustration leads to losing your mind.
Losing your mind. And that's where the whole mama bear thing comes out.
I wonder if we should tackle bullying in the next episode or episode after that. I think bullying is kind of we're kind of going through something right now with my daughter.
Yeah.
She's in grade 1, and it's really, because she's my first, right? I don't know anything past grade 1. I don't know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to hear the issues that are happening to her at grade 1 at 6 years old is as deflating news as you could receive. And it's very I think we all know as parents and as adults how unbelievably shitty the world can be. And to hear that this is already happening at 6 years old is and you're kind of stuck with this kind of your class as you move up, right?
Uh-huh.
So unless, somebody gets a new job somewhere, they you're and what are the channels to go about? Because you could, and I think we should talk about bullying in a maybe sort of a more open way, because we're all sort of at different sort of levels of that. But it can be hard.
Are you still watching Based on a True Story?
I am. I had to take a bit of a break for it, but yes, I'm still on it. I'm on Stack TV. I get it on that way.
Yeah, you can catch it on W Network as well. And it got me thinking about
They still owe me Mexico money. The show's amazing. Don't get me wrong. They owe me Mexico money.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, you got caught up in their Mexico trip.
I was thinking the same thing.
And your Mexico trip weren't quite the same thing.
No.
But I don't know. It's nice. When we're talking right now, it's really cold and crappy outside, so it's no better time to kind of sit down and just watch a nice show.
You could take a little bit of crime just to get away from it all, right?
Well,
Why not?
They say that there are two types of people, right? People that like watch true crime in order to like relax, and people who like avoid it. I'm an avoider. Ryan loves it, right? And obviously this is a podcast, and they deal with murder. Like it's pretty crazy, and their parents. Like it's basically the perfect bad parents show of all time.
Yeah, when I listen to or watch shows like based on a true story about true crime, I'm like, oh, what a rookie mistake. Bro, you bought a receipt and you left it in your car?
But the thing that's weird about you is you're so gullible.
I know.
You are the most skilled at you watch all these programs.
Yep.
And yet when someone does something, you're like, I don't believe it. I think they said they didn't do it.
I'm coming around to now thinking OJ did it.
Are we allowed to talk about what happened at your house? In the driveway?
No.
No, you want to leave that alone? Okay, all right. Because somebody who like loves true crime, I'm surprised that was allowed to happen. Anywho,
I just don't want this to be evidence later on.
Fair enough. All right. If you have any questions, we really want to do a mailbag show. You can email us, badparents@curiouscast.ca. And yeah, we'll get to we'll get
even if there's some bullying stories
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you
Bullying
had
stories.
a solution, maybe you found a way
because,
to deal with it.
Again, how do you do it? I'm not sure. So yeah, if you have any bullying stories and how you handled it, and maybe not as hardcore as Australian woman,
yeah,
you can let us know, and we'll figure it out. So have a great rest of your day. Happy Valentine's Day.